If you're dating, you've probably felt the urge to know everything about the person you're with. Their past, their timeline for marriage, their deepest secrets. But here's the truth, some things are better left a mystery.
In fact, oversharing too soon can actually hurt your relationship instead of help it. So today, we're going to unpack what you should not be sharing early on in your dating relationship, and why holding some things back can actually protect your heart and keep your relationship healthy. When Sharon and I were dating, we practiced something that felt a little bit countercultural. We stayed tight-lipped about a lot of things. We didn't talk about when exactly we wanted to get married, and we didn't open up about all our deepest fears or childhood traumas. Why? Because we knew that oversharing could create a false sense of intimacy and open the doors to temptation in our dating relationship. And this wasn't an easy decision because, like everyone, we wanted to feel close in our relationship. We wanted to feel safe, but we had learned through watching other people and seeking wise counsel that there is a big difference between building trust and rushing into emotional nakedness. We had seen it happen to other couples. They start sharing deep personal history or big future plans way too early on. It usually came from a place of insecurity. They want to lock in the relationship even before it's fully built. But instead of creating safety like we all want in our relationships, it only made the relationship more heavy, creating anxiety and led to more pain.
There are couples who within weeks of dating, they're talking about when they want to get married and how many kids they want to have. At first, it's exciting to them. They feel like they're dreaming together. But when one person's vision doesn't match the other, it can cause heartbreak, arguments, and disillusionment. There are also couples who share about their past partners, thinking it would build honesty. But it just leaves them comparing themselves to those people or feeling insecure about what has been shared. It doesn't bring them closer. It only sparks jealousy, adds pressure, and exposes wounds that they aren't equipped to help each other heal. And the hard truth, most of these conversations aren't happening out of faith. They're happening out of fear. Fear of losing each other, fear of being betrayed, fear of not being enough.
But the Bible gives us a different framework on how we can approach these things. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 23 says, I have the right to do anything you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but not everything is constructive. Just because you can share something does not mean that it's good or helpful for your relationship right now. This is important because oversharing sometimes is not about transparency. Sometimes it's about control. You want to control where you're at in this relationship. You want to control where the relationship goes. And by trying to control your relationship, you forget the fact that dating is about discovery, not about ownership. This is why Matthew 18:6 gives us a very chilling warning. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Wow, my goodness. That sounds intense, but here's what it means for your dating relationship. We need to be mindful that our words and actions can either help our partner get closer to God, or we can become a stumbling block. And this scripture says, if you are that stumbling block to your partner, it is better for a millstone to be wrapped around your neck. Oh my gosh. And I'm sure you don't want to be that stumbling block to your partner. But we can do this without even thinking about it. We share our personal history. We share our sexual experiences. We share our temptations and sin. And then we cause our partner to be in temptation themselves. Because these are the things that are not needed to be shared right now. They don't need to know. But sometimes we have that thing in our head that tells us we need to share this so they know more about me. No, they don't. Your mentor needs to know more about you right now. You need to rely more on those that can help you through these things, but not your dating partner. because they don't need to know.
And then there is Matthew 6:33. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. With this verse, we realized our first priority in dating wasn't to know everything about each other. It was to make sure that we were both seeking God first. Because when you're both seeking him, he will provide the clarity, security, and answers you need in his timing. We didn't need to rush to know everything because we trusted that God would reveal what really mattered at the right time.
And that's the important thing, trusting God in your dating relationship. I remember a time when one of my friends asked me, Isaiah, how do you know Shari is the one? How do you know that you guys are going to be okay when you get married? And I told him, I'm not worried. And I wasn't worried because I saw in Shari a love for God that I knew was solid. I knew she loved God, so she's not going to hurt me. You see, when we all love God, we can't hurt each other because that's not what God commands us to do. He commands us to love the Lord your God first and love your neighbor as yourself. You know, and in interacting with anyone, not just your dating partner, with anyone, there will be love. And so when he asked me that question, I could just think back to how she loves God and be content with where she's at and be ready to go on to the next stage. And we had a lot of fun, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And because we didn't share too many things during our dating relationship, we were able to keep it light. And it's not like we're trying to be superficial with one another. No. It's not like we're trying to lie to one another. It's not like we're trying to present ourselves as someone different. But what we did was just to protect one another. Again, it's those boundaries. It's being able to figure out the stage you're in right now and what is applicable to this stage.
So, how do you know if you're oversharing? Here are some signs. The relationship suddenly feels heavy, like you're carrying the weight of a marriage without the covenant. You start feeling anxious or clingy when you're apart because you've built emotional dependency instead of healthy pacing. Your spiritual life takes a hit. You're thinking more about your partner than about God. If that's happening, pause, pull back, invite God, invite wise mentors back into the process.
And that's the thing. This is why we're sharing this topic with you, because it's so important for your walk with God. Because dating relationship can be amazing, but a dating relationship can also lead to idolatry. And we know with idolatry, who are we worshiping? We're not worshiping God. And the thing with idolatry is that it can be very subtle. You could just think, oh, I'm just trying to get to know my partner a bit more. Oh, I know I didn't get time to do my quiet time, but, you know, I was just talking with my partner. It's important that she gets to know me more. We can go towards a downward spiral further and further away from God without knowing. And that's why we also said, invite wise mentors back in, because when people can see your relationship, they can help you. It takes away the subjectiveness. It takes away the, oh, you look so beautiful. You know, we can get a bit googly-eyed, but people who are watching us can be objective and they can help us see, hey, hold up. Why are you guys doing that? And you know, it's not them trying to be in your life or force themselves into your life. As long as you let them in, they should be allowed to do that for you, because that's how they protect you. And that's how they protect your relationship.
Mentors are like filters. They can see things when you can't, when you're caught up in the emotions of dating. They can remind you, this can wait. This is safe to share. This is too much to share right now. And most importantly, they can help you stay grounded in your walk with God. I remember my mentor when I was dating Isaiah, every time we got together, she would always ask and check how I was doing with God. Most of our conversation would be about God and how I am obeying his will and how I'm living out his word, rather than how is the relationship going and how much do I like Isaiah and how much am I giving to Isaiah. It would mostly be about how am I submitting to God and focusing on pouring my heart out to God so he can help me with my deepest desires. And so after that, after having those conversations and always running to God for everything, I didn't need to go to overshare and give a lot of me to Isaiah because God already sorted that out. And so my mentor was really good at pointing me to God, and that really changed my time in dating, because otherwise I would have taken Isaiah as kind of like my anchor. Oh, I need to tell him he's he likes me, he's there for me, so I need to tell him and I need to pour myself out to him. But really, I need to pour myself out to God. God is going to help me. And my sisters around who know me well, who are able to tell me, look, Shari, where you're going is dangerous. What you're thinking is not good. Run to God. Let's sort this out. Let's pray together. Let's read scripture. Let's see God work in your life to deal with these things. Those are the kind of people I needed in my life.
It's the same for me. Like, I remember one time with my mentor, he said, well, Isaiah, you know that right now she's not your family. She's not your family. Until you guys have made a covenant and you're married, you are not family. And so therefore, she is not your priority. You know, he reminded me that my priority are those in my church that, well, first of all, God, you know, which is, he's always the priority. And then to go to those in my church and then those that I'm reaching out to get to know more about God, you know, and then at some point, Shari will get into that list, but she's not the one that I go to straight away. That's the important part. We need to remember this is the moment for you to solidify your time with God, because you can't say that later, I'm going to try and do that. If you don't get used to it now, you ain't going to just do it later. It's something that has to be inbuilt in you over time. It's a way of living, to live in step with God. 1 John 1, to walk with God.
So that begs the question, what should stay a mystery in dating? Well, we think most of your past, your private wounds, and any big future plans that can cause pressure. Not because you're hiding something, but because those conversations need to happen in the right season with the right guardrails.
But here's the flip side. What do you need to know? What are the essentials you must talk about in order for you to feel secure and to know that you're building a right godly foundation? That's exactly what we'll unpack in part 2. So subscribe and join us for that conversation.